Cheer. You already know it's your boy Joe back at it again. CodingPhase.com. Your boy is backing out and did it again one more time. You already know what time it is. Hey, shout out to everybody that was in here waiting. Sorry about that. I had a little quick call. Josh C, Yurt, Valentina, Antonio. That's that. I like that one. That's that. Like, yo, that's it. But yeah, man, today we're going to be answering questions. And at the same time, I want to go in and start doing research on jobs that you guys can probably apply to. Just with HTML and CSS, man. Sometimes we overthink things and we're trying to go, like I always say, from 0 to 100. But guess what? You got to go to 20. You got to go to 40. You got to go to 60. You got to go to 80. And then you're going to get to 100. Okay? There's steps to this thing, right? And to get to 0 to 100 and to try to skip a lot of steps to get into the industry, it's going to be hard, right? But doesn't mean that you have to be at home waiting until you get to that level, sucking on your thumb at home. You need to start getting some bread, okay, guys? So yeah, man. Let me see. Shout out to the squad. You already know, representing Billionaire Boys Club today. This is how we do it. Shout out to the whole squad. Shout out to Billy Rodriguez, Mohammed, Angel Medina, Camille, Angel M, Ram Codes, Brandon McKenzie. Okay. Yes, sir. We are live. Okay, let me see. Lily Rose says, hi. All of the HTML positions I see also require degrees, other knowledge I don't have yet. Am I looking in the wrong places? Well, let's see. Let's see what we find today, okay? Let's see what we find today, and from there, we'll figure it out, Lily. We'll see what's going on with you, okay? Because what is it that you feel like they're asking you that, that you feel like, man, I can't figure it out, or they're asking for more stuff than what I know. And also too, that should also be like a good indicator for you to learn those things. If they're asking you for certain things, try to learn those things. Now, as far as degrees, you don't need a degree, right? Like, employers are looking for individuals that can do the job. That's the number one thing that people care about. Now, if you go in and you're trying to get into, like, let's say the top 1% of companies in the world, right? Then yeah, they have the option to choose which employees get to work for them. And they have the option to take their time because they have huge budgets, right? And they have a whole bunch of developers and employees that they could take their sweet time to hire somebody. But small to medium sized businesses, they don't have time and they don't have the budget to be waiting until the dream employee comes along and takes the job. They need something to get done, and they need to get people to come in and help grow the business. And if you can do the job, you're gonna get hired. Doesn't matter if you have a degree, doesn't matter if you have a GED, doesn't matter. I've seen people that don't even have a GED working in the industry right now. That tells you, like, yo, and and that's another thing too. Like, people be like, yo, you need a high school diploma. When was the last time somebody asked you for a high school diploma? You get what I'm saying? When was the last time, even when you graduate from school, I've never seen anybody come in and ask somebody, hey, let me see your degree. Like, no one cares about that. That's like a way for you to stop yourself from, like, applying, So don't pay no mind, man. Shout out to Starlet Leon. Says, we here in DR working from home. Nice. Congratulations. Shout out to Starling. Starling started as a intern here. He was a subscriber to codingphase.com and to the YouTube channel. Learn how to code, been killing it. Also was part of the internship, killing it on that end. One of the three people that were killing it on that project. I really enjoyed working with him on some of the stuff that we was doing. And now he's working remote. Congratulations to him. He made it happen, right? And this is what every single one of you guys should be doing. Like, go out there, man, and make it happen, because we are providing the tools. We are providing the gems. We are providing the information, the knowledge, the experience here in Coding Phase. Now, take that and put it to work for yourself. Okay, go out there, start applying to jobs. You'll be surprised. Okay, let me see. Matthew Smith says, "I'm 42. I don't even know where my diploma's at." Yep. I think my mom has my diplomas. Like I don't even know. Like I've been thinking about that. I'm like, yo, I want to put my college degrees. I don't know, somewhere around here. And I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, I don't even know where that shit is at. Like I think my mom moved like a couple of times already. So I got my fingers crossed that she still kept it somewhere in her pile of papers that she usually has. My mom has like a drawer full of papers of like, you know, diplomas and recognitions that I used to get, me and my sisters when we was in school. So I don't even know what. Hopefully she has it. I think she does. Let me see. Game Amazing says it's nice to start blockchain developer. Hey, if you want to do that, go ahead. Right. I don't think that starting your first goal should be, hey, I want to be a blockchain developer, because the problem is that the companies that are hiring for blockchain developers and web3 developers, etc., they're looking for people with experience, right? um think about it like this: put yourself in the shoes of a an entrepreneur or somebody who got the funding to start a new startup or create a new idea. Why will you hire somebody brand new that has never done anything before and pay them top dollar, right? Why? So most of these startups, they're not looking to take that risk. They're looking for people with experience, and they're willing to pay a lot of money. But again, it's for people with experience. I think for anybody that's interested in becoming a Web3 developer, focusing on blockchain, I think they should focus on building experience first through web development, which is very similar to a lot of the stuff that you're going to be doing in Web3. Um, and then from there, go in. Once you do a year, 2 years, right? Like continue learning about the blockchain, right? Of course, throughout that whole time, but have like a year or 2 years of experience working as a web developer, and your transition is gonna be easier. Now, of course, I'm not gonna put this thing out of the box where you can network, right? And this is the ultimate cheat code. This is the thing where you connect the game chart to the back of the the PlayStation, and you got the unlimited freaking weapons and all of that, right? Right? This is part of the game. If you know how to network, if you're one of those dudes that's on Discord, if you're one of those dudes um that can be in there and sorry guys, this freaking camera be acting up sometimes. Yeah, so if you're one of those individuals that can network and can talk yourself into a job, guess what? You're good to go. Because I see it all the time. There's people that might not be half as talented as other developers, and they get into positions just off network. If you know how to kiss ass, if you know how to put yourself in the right place at the right time, you can always get whatever position you want. Now, the question is, are you that type of individual? Me, myself, I'm not. I'm not the type of guy that likes to network. I don't like to go in, kiss nobody's ass. I don't have time to be on Discords, on Twitter communities, on this, and that. I'm not that guy. And most of you guys are not like that either. You get what I'm saying? So the advice that I give you is a more realistic approach, which is learn about web development, get a job as a web developer, mostly in front end development, or you can even do some back end, but I think the front end is going to be more beneficial for you. And then from there, also too, at the same time, learn about the blockchain, learn about Solidity and all of that, right? Ethereum and shoot, or what was the other one? I always forget. There's a couple of other ones, Solana, right? Learn about those things, and then from there, go in and apply to those type of jobs. Okay, because there's a better chance of you getting hired as a Web3 developer. Okay. Now, again, pointing it out, you can always network your way in. There's people that can talk, and there's people that can go in and sell water to a fish and be like, yo, fish, you need some water. They could go to hell and be like, yo, devil, you need some fire. They could sell anything. They could sell themselves. But if you're not that type of individual, guess what? You gotta have to do what I do, which is from my hard work, I demonstrate what I can do, and I have the skills, and then from there, I get whatever position that I want. And again, going back to what I just said, there's gonna be people that can easily go into an interview, show up with a nice suit, nice clothes, nice smile, go in there with the hair comb over, the whole shebang, whatever, can talk to somebody for like 20, 30 minutes, and then they're like, oh, I like this guy. And then now they come in and they hire him. That shit happens all the time. People hire people that, maybe they find like they're entertaining, they feel like they could work with them. Sometimes they might have the skills, sometimes they might not have the skills. Sometimes people game the system, and once they're in, then they learn the skills. It happens. If you're not that type of individual, then you're gonna have to do the things that I tell you, which is put in the work and then demonstrate with your experience. Okay? Let me see. The game shark. It's true. Networking is the game shark of the industry. Okay? But the truth is that not all of us can do that. Okay? We're not built for that. Let me see. Email marketing specialist jobs are popping up right now. Yep. Let me see what else we have here. Shout out to Wally getting his new apartment. We need to repost that video. I took it down because I want to go and chop it up and make it into its own video, but we definitely want to say congratulations to Wally, another subscriber to CodingPhase.com. What's the difference between UI engineer and front-end engineer? Personally, it's just a job title. Right now, you could go in and say software engineer, right? And you might be doing just front-end. So it really doesn't matter, right? Back in the days, there used to be a difference, but nowadays it doesn't matter. Like, companies are giving titles to anybody right now. Like, you could show up at a company and it'll be the first time in your life that you ever been working on whatever code base or whatever it is, and somebody might call you a specialist. You might be the front end developer specialist. Are you a specialist? No, that's just a title they gave you. You get what I'm saying? That's like the other day I saw somebody on Twitter saying, I'm a senior developer and this and that. And I'm thinking in my head, like, they gave you a title. You're not a senior developer yet. Like, if somebody's like, yo, I got a year in development, this and that. And I'm like, you are not a senior developer with 1 year of experience. You haven't built enough. You haven't gone through the trials and tribulations of like fucking shit breaking all the time and having people asking you questions and you being the go-to guy or the go-to girl. Till that moment, you're not a senior developer. They're just giving you a title, okay? So keep that in mind. When you go in and apply to these companies, titles are meaningless unless it actually goes with what you do. Sometimes people will be like, oh, I'm a senior developer. Why? Because they gave you a title. People show up on their first day of work and they say, oh, this is the senior developers. We're looking for senior developers. And people get hired not even being senior. And now you have a title of senior developer. That means nothing in the industry, right now. So that's just how it is. Let me see. Reading through here. Is it the right thing to test your emails in Microsoft Word 2007? Make sure they look good in older version. There's a certain point where you got to have a cutoff. Certain, like let's say when you work at a company, you might have to go in and how can I say this? You might have to go in and what's the right word? You might have to go in and separate or segment your emails in the email service providers that you're gonna go and test depending on your audience, right? What does that mean, right? I'm just putting words together right now. But what does that mean, right? Somebody's like, you're Joe, you're just putting words together right now, right? Look, what does that mean? That means that, hey, if I'm gonna go in and I got a product, right? Let's say I have a USB for crypto, right? One of those crypto wallets or what they call it, cold wallets, where it's like a USB and you can save your cryptocurrency inside of that USB. Guess what? The people that's using that product, they're not using Microsoft Microsoft Outlook, and again, it's not Microsoft Word, it's Microsoft Outlook, right? From back in the days, they're not using, you know, maybe Microsoft Explorer or Internet Explorer 11. They're not using any of that. Most likely, they're going to be using the latest browsers. You know, a Safari. Maybe they're using something like Google Chrome or Firefox. Right now, if you are thinking that they're using those type of browsers, then they probably going to be using the email service for the iOS. Right, they're probably going to be using the email service for Gmail. They're most likely going to be using, what's another one that's out there? The Microsoft one, which is like on the web. So you want to go and test for those things. You're not going to go in and be like, well, even though this is for, for, I don't know, millennials, let's just call them millennials, right? We're going to go in and start doing testing on older Windows XP. Or it'd be like, yo, there's going to be a guy that's using Windows 95. Like, no one's using Windows 95. No one with with this specific product, right? Which is about cryptocurrency is going to be using Windows 95. So at that point, that's when you go in and you decide, hey, this are the type of browsers or email services that we're going to actually test for. We're not going to test for everything that's out there because now you're just wasting time. No one does. Okay, there's a point where you got to realize, like, yo, does the time that is going to take to go in and test and create individual type, like, emails or whatever, landing pages, whatever you're doing, is it even worth going back to supporting older browsers or older email services? Like, companies don't do that. There's a cutoff. Okay, so you should do that too. Let me see. Hey, I'm a front end developer with some freelance experience. Is it okay to get into the blockchain? Look, man, get a job first, Mohammed. I don't want, and also too, I don't want to focus too much on Web3. I know some of you guys are excited about this. I know some of you guys, yeah, want to, somebody already washed your brain, right? Where they just went in and gave you all these ideas. Man, Web3 is the future. This Web3 is something that's gonna be next to web development, parallel. It's not something to be like, whoa, Web3 is all the way up here, and web development, Web2 is down here. Nah, this shit's gonna work hand in hand. You get what I'm saying? That's it. That's like somebody coming in and be like, well, you know what? Napster came out. And because Napster came out, now the whole web is completely different and we gotta change. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, no, it's not gonna be something like that, guys. Okay? So I'm not gonna waste no more time on that. We already talked about Web3. I just gave an advice on that. I'm not gonna go in and waste my time on that thing. Okay, let me see. Reading through here. Also, too, you gotta have experience. Like, you guys, some of you guys haven't even worked anywhere, haven't done anything meaningful. Like, you gotta have something meaningful, and instead of thinking about, hey, I want to go in and get this Web3 jobs, like, get a job first, or build something, build a tool or a service, and then from there you start thinking about that. But right now, like, y'all so early on, like, y'all early stages right now, y'all babies right now, thinking about some shit that you're gonna do as adults. Like, come on. Take it one day at a time and do steps first. Let me see. Man, titles are BS. I'm a senior developer at a job. I've been in the game for less than 2 years. Yeah, bro. Like, with 2 years, you're not a senior developer. Like, and also too, I feel like when you're a senior developer, you are the go-to guy. If you're not the go-to guy in the company, you're not a senior developer. If they're not asking you questions, if you're not the one solving the problems and having like junior developers come to you, you're not a senior developer. You're another developer at a company. You might be junior, you might be mid, right? But the senior developer is that go-to guy. It's the guy that when shit breaks and shit goes bad, they're asking him. When nobody knows how to solve the problem, they asking that guy. If you're not that guy in the company, you're not a senior developer. They just gave you a title, right? And that's something that we have to come to terms and understand how the industry works. Now, some people, they love that shit. They love flexing. I'm a senior developer. I didn't call myself a senior developer even when they gave me a senior developer title. You get what I'm saying? Like I was like 2 years in, and I'm working at a company where everybody's called a senior developer. It's like at Netflix, right? Everybody on Netflix is supposed to be a senior engineer. Is everyone at Netflix a senior engineer? I don't think so. You get what I'm saying? Like that's just a title, you know. Let me see. What do they mean when they say developer advocate? A developer advocate is there's two types of developer advocate, right? What exactly is the developer advocate? There's basically two positions that a developer advocate is supposed to have. There's the developer advocate who promotes a service, like for example, let's say I worked for AWS, right? Or Amazon, and I'm working on the AWS team. And let's say I'm working at the company. My job as a developer advocate is to promote for other companies to sign up to AWS and use our services. Okay. So there's the role of like sort of like marketing, right? And this is why you see so many YouTubers that get hired as developer advocates, right? There's that role, right, where you're basically a promoter to the service. And then there's the other side, which is your job is to make it easier for developers to be able to use whatever service it is that you guys are selling or whatever service your company is selling. Okay. And that's basically the job, right? You could either promote the service or you're the guy who's basically representing developers within that company. So, or like external developers within that company that you work for. So, again, if I work at AWS and I'm a developer advocate, I can go in and say, well, I keep seeing in the communities, in the forums, that people are having a hard time with the documentation, right? Using the AWS is difficult for a lot of developers. How can we improve this? So for me, my job is to make sure that now that I'm inside of AWS or Amazon, that I can go in and relate that back to the developers who are working on those specific features. And we can say, hey, man, this API, people are having problems. How can we improve it? How can we make the life easier for other developers to use, right? Because again, being a developer advocate is a mixture between marketing and also I will say sort of like a customer service or customer support for developers, right? As a developer advocate, you're supposed to make whatever service, whatever API, whatever it is that you're doing at that company, make it easier for the developers from other companies to use your service. And you're basically the go-to guy or basically the middleman between the developers at Amazon and the developers at other companies who's using Amazon's web services. So does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense to some of you guys. Okay, that's the simplest way you could think about being a developer advocate. Now, I think to be a developer advocate, you have to be knowledgeable in the technology that people are or the company is using. You also need to be great with communication. Okay. Another thing too, you have to be somebody who listens, right, and also does research. So it's not just click clack click clack click clack and you're coding, right? Because it's not a traditional developer position. Your job is more about marketing and supporting the developers and being the middleman between the developers from external developers and the in-house developers. That's your job. Okay, your job is to make whatever technology, whatever features, whatever it is that you guys are building. You're the middleman to make sure that those things are good for other developers in other companies. That's it. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me see. Hey Joe, what projects should I create for React developer job? What are some of the most important React features I should include in those projects? Search CodingPhase, right? And search JavaScript projects. You could go in there and you could build those projects with basically with React. Okay, I break down. There's a video that I called it 5 JavaScript projects that will guarantee you to get higher. You can build all those 5 projects with React, and you're good to go. Okay. Um, Let me see. Shout out to India. Love from India. Love you guys too. Let me see. Pu- 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 pu. Bro, you did computer science for you? No, I did not do no computer science because I felt like I don't need computer science degree to get a job as a developer. Um, for me, what I was doing was programming in systems, which is more about like IT work, right? Learning about Windows, learning about networking, connecting printers, resetting passwords. That's what I used to do, right? Servers for offices. That's what I learned in school. School sucks. Then from there, I was going for a bachelor's in communication design. That's where I learned about design and a lot of the design principles. I was gonna do computer science, but then once I took computer science 101, I said this is stupid. Like for me at the time, I'm not saying that computer science is stupid for everybody, but for me, I was like I could learn this on my own. I don't need to pay a lot of money for this thing, especially going to school. So I decided to go for communication design. I learned a lot about design, color theory, design principles. I learned about user experience, UI, UX. I learned about architecture. Like I learned about how to find inspiration in basically in anything. Like I could go to a park and I could get inspired and figure out what I would like to build just from looking at like the sunset. Like it's like weird stuff. Like when you study design, there's a lot of stuff that they teach you that it's not like the normal things that you'll be like, oh well, 2 plus 2 equals 4. It's like nah. We was learning more about how to find inspiration, how to you know come up with designs, what makes a design good. Like you look at a building, what makes that building attractive, what makes people be like, damn, this is a great architecture, or whatever it is, right? Or when you go and go to a museum and you see an art piece, what makes that art piece important, like, so that's what I went to school for, right? Because again, programming, I could learn that with my eyes closed. Once I started learning about programming, I said, I don't need to learn this from a college professor. I could do this on my own. And I figured it out. Okay. And I was right. The things that I learned from design, I feel like I wouldn't be able to learn that on my own because even I see people teach like online courses or YouTube videos, and I'm like, damn, man, they're not at a college level. Like, like as far as like design. So yeah, I think it was worth it, me learning about communication design. Let me see. Christian Huada says, even if someone uses Windows XP, it's their fault not to be updated. Yeah. Let me see. Let me see. Hey Joe, what project? Okay, I already talked about that. What's going on? CodingPhase. What's going on? Dudes be like, I can be a full stack backend machine learning, blockchain, mobile game developer. Yep, exactly. They're trying to do too much. Guys, make your life simple. Stick to one thing, right? You see what I do. I could learn anything that's out there, okay? I could go in and say, I want to learn about blockchain. I want to learn about being a game developer. I want to learn about embedded systems. I can learn all of those things. But guess what? If I go in and I try to learn everything, I'm not going to be a good of a web developer as I am, right? I've stuck to web development for the past 10 years, and it's for a reason. Because if you stick to one specific industry or one specific category or branch of development, everything that you learn within that is related to each other. So you can reuse your skills, right? But if you go in and you be like, well, let me go and learn something completely out of left field, guess what? It's not going to be the same. You're going to have to learn things from scratch. You're going to have to start all over. It's like starting a new career. That's like a guy who, I don't know, who works say in construction, right? And he does tiles. And then one day he's like, well, I would like to be an electrician, right? Tiles and being a tile guy it was a masonry or whatever, however you call that, or mason. It's not the same thing as being an electrician. You're gonna start from scratch when you go to become an electrician. Okay, it's the same thing. Yes, you're doing construction and you're doing some type of thing that has to deal with construction, but it's not the same thing. You're gonna have to learn a lot of stuff from scratch. So that's why I stick to one thing. Let me see. I tried launching my website on Netlify, but the pictures ain't displaying. What could be the problem? It could be the way how you're setting up your images. Maybe the location that you're thinking where the images is at. Remember that when you serve this static website, think of it as um, your your public folder. Think of your public folder wherever you say, "Oh, this is where the distributed or the public files is gonna be." That's where your images should be at. So you should say, let's say you have a folder called images, it should be inside of that specific public folder. If you're thinking that the images are within your project folder and you're going going back outside of the distributed folder, which is what Netlify is actually going to go in and make live, right? Netlify is not looking for anything that's outside of that specific public or distributed folder. So you got to make sure that everything is within that. So if you have an index.html file there, make sure you go in and you put your image folder within that folder where the index.html is located. Okay. Let me see. You helped me tremendously. I actually quit my job over a year ago, took some of the courses in HTML, CSS. 4 months later, I was hired as a web designer for a software company. Congratulations, JD. Okay. If you want, you can send me your information. We'll add you to the Hall of Fame, man. This is where we go in and we add all of our students that have found some success, and it's good for not only to help us out as far as like showing proof of the people that have came through and have found some success, but also too it motivates other people's. Okay, there's people just like you right now that's looking into becoming either developers, web designers, and the only thing that's stopping them is getting the skills, but they think that's too difficult, too hard for them. So coming in, sharing your story, just like everybody else that has shared the story. Shout out to Devin Martinez, email developer, Donnie Wilson, web developer, right? And all the other guys that we have put in the Hall of Fame. We like to share their story here, okay? So people can go in and they can see, you know, everything that they have done and have accomplished. It's a way for us to give highlight to the students that have made it happen for themselves, but also too it helps us out just because it shows like, shoot, this thing happens every day. This is not like something when you see me and be like, oh, somebody got hired today. This happens every day, like every single day. There's a minimum of like 2 or 3 people that get hired every single day. We got thousands of students in CodingPhase.com, right? And believe it or not, like this shit happens every day. Every day I get emails. Hey Joe, I just got my first job. Joe, I just bought my first car. Thank you, Joe. I just got my first house. Like people are getting to their goals because they came through CodingPhase and they got the skills that they needed. So again, JD, if you want me to add you to the Hall of Fame, come through, share your story. And yeah, man, send me an email, codingphase@gmail.com. Okay. And I will add you and just putting Hall of Fame, I just got hired, or whatever you want to put. I read through everybody's emails anyways. But go ahead and share your story, man. Let me see. Can anyone get a job only with HTML, CSS, JavaScript? Yes, of course. This is what we're going to get into right now in a little bit. Okay, I'm just going through the questions real quick before we move on. Title / university in South America are important in consideration, which is beautiful. Well, yeah, that's in Latin America. Latin America is the worst place that you could use as an example as far as like are they like ahead or anything. They're so behind. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Latin America too. And Latin America is beyond behind the United States and parts of Europe. Like they're super behind because they're still in the world of, You need a degree, right? You need to have connections. There's people in Latin America, like I got, family members that live in Brazil. I got family members that live in Dominican Republic. I got family members that live in Panama. And from everybody, I hear the same thing. You need cuña. You know what a cuña is? To get a really good position, you either got to come from like a really, really good university, a really good family, or you got to have somebody in there that can vouch for you. So the good jobs stay within the same people. It's worse than here. Here, at least you have the opportunities to move on up and continue growing from there once you get to a certain point. But in Latin America, it's about who you know, what family members you have, like what's your family name. Like they still like a little behind compared to here. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that they focus so much on college degrees. That's why I tell people I can give you an advice if you're from other parts of the world, but you got to make your own research, right? I know I can help people here in the United States. I know I can help people in Canada. I don't know about Zimbabwe. I don't know about Colombia. I don't know about Argentina. I don't know about Mexico. I don't know about none of these places. I know the United States, and that's it. You get what I'm saying? Now you could watch me when I talk about remote jobs, right? And what skills you should get as a remote developer. You could pay attention to that. But if you're looking for a job like within your country, you need to find a guy that is in your country. You get what I'm saying? Like, and that's just me being honest, because I could bullshit you like almost every YouTuber that's out here that they act like their advice is for everybody. My advice is not for everybody. You get what I'm saying? 56% of my audience is from the United States. Then all the other little percentage, like 2%, 3% for India, 1% from Bangladesh, 1% from Jamaica, 1% from Nigeria, 1%. Like I don't have like this huge, like you know, how you call this audience from all over the world. I focus specifically here in the United States because I want to help the people that I can help. I don't want to go in and just create content to just bullshit you guys and be like, well, guys, you guys should just learn Python. And you go into Colombia and there's no jobs for people in Colombia with Python. They're not using Python. They're using freaking PHP and .NET and Java. You get what I'm saying? So at least I'm honest and I'll tell you the truth. Okay? So let me see. What's up, Joe? Been a while since I've been back to your channel. Video quality is 8K now. Damn, I don't know about 8K. It's a little bullshit. 1080p. Yeah. Let me see. It's just the camera is clean. It's top camera with a nice lens, But at the end of the day, it's still a shitty camera because the shit be turning off randomly. So, so we got good days. We got good days and we got bad days. Schmack, okay? Where we should just call you Smack. Don DeMarco. Like, yo, we need to get the Don DeMarco, when we go in and do this thing, man. I'm gonna figure it out. I need to get like a soundboard so I could just be doing bam, 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 Don DeMarco. Let me see. Reading through here. Stop spamming. If you spam, you're gonna get banned. Okay, trust me. I go through everybody's messages, and if I feel like your message is important, I'll get to it. Okay. Let me see. Does a developer necessarily be good with all language, or instead pick a few and master? Yeah, all you need is a few. You don't need to learn every single thing that's out there. Some people, they come to me and they be like, "Yo, Joe, well, you teach so many different languages. How do you know all these languages?" And in reality, it's because I've used them for work, right? So I learned the things that I need for work. That's it. I don't just go in and be learning random things all the time. Nah, I just learn the things that I need to learn for work. That's it. But you don't need to learn everything that's out there. Just because something is out there and it's popular, or not even popular, just people are talking about it, doesn't mean that you got to stop whatever you're doing to go learn it. None of the real senior developers do that at all. No one stops what they're doing and go in and chooses something new that they've never used before, right? I've seen people come in and be like, "Well, I've been using PHP Laravel for the past, 2 years, but then now I'm gonna switch everything to Golang." You could have been more proficient. You could have gotten shit done faster if you would have kept using PHP Laravel instead of you going to like Golang or some random language just because it's new, right? And again, I'm not saying like don't continue learning, but you gotta learn with a purpose. If you find a limitation in the language that you're using, for whatever it is that you're trying to build, then you go in and you try to find another language or another tool or another framework, whatever it is, and then from there you go in and you start paying attention to that new language, just because you need it, okay, to solve whatever problem you might have. But yeah, that's how you do it. Let me see, reading through here. And guys, don't post more than once, guys. Please, man. You save yourself the trip to the block party. Okay? If you go in and you post it more than once, you're gonna get a VIP ticket straight to to the block party, and they serving French fries and chicken wings in that spot with a little soda on the side. So you want to join the trolls, you could join the block party. I'll give you a VIP ticket straight to the block party. Okay? They closed the street down. We made it into a block party. If you want to get in there, you let me know. I'll give you the VIP ticket. Let me see. How Shopify theme developer for freelancing. I'm learning HTML email at the moment to Joe's courses, but thinking of switching to start freelancing on Upwork. Look, Shopify is hot. You can definitely find a lot of freelancing gigs with Shopify. I personally think that freelancing is one of those things that you want to do on the side. Freelancing is not something you want to do full time. What you want to focus on is getting a job, right? Get a job so you can have consistent income. This is how I did it. People ask, "How is Joe here? Who is this guy with a random, hat on and got the panda shirt, got the Billionaire Boys Club T-shirt? Who is this guy?" I'm just a regular guy, just like you guys, but I just did it right, right? I came in, I learned how to code, I got a job, right? I was doing side income. The side income initially wasn't making a lot of money. I couldn't do that full time, so I just kept on working. By the time I was like, 3, 4 years in as a developer, I was making more money on the side income than on my own, full-time income as a developer. But that took time. You get what I'm saying? It's the same thing as freelancing. If you go in and you start doing freelancing, for you to make full-time income with freelancing, it takes time. And some of us, we got to pay bills. Some of us, we got to survive. Some of us got to pay chicks Ubers. You get what I'm saying? When Shorty come through and you want to send her home, here, ma, here's an Uber. That's it. Thank you for your services. You know what I'm saying? We enjoy the day, nice Netflix and chill. Here's an Uber ride. You know what I mean? You need money for that. You're not going to be able to do that with a hug and a kiss, right? You need to actually pay. So you want to go in and get a job first. Once you have a job, you use the income that you're getting from your job to grow your side income and to, expand on it. Let's say, for example, let's say you was freelancing, right? And maybe you're getting a gig or 1 or 2 gigs per week. Guess what? When you're working full time, now you go in and expand and say, well, we will also design your website. We will also create your full website. If you're charging $200, $300 for a landing page or something like that, now you could go in and charge $1,000, $2,000 and say, well, we will also design your website. We will also build it with Shopify, etc. And then now what you do is while you're working at your job, you hire some guy from Fiverr. It's an ecosystem, right? Same way how people hire you, you hire other freelancers. And then now you're basically making this thing work. So you're making more money, and then now you're building your clients, and it takes time. Once you get that clientele where you have, okay, I got consistent 10 10 people, or even less than that if you're charging more. Let's say you got 5 people, and 5 of those people are paying you, let's say, a consistent 1,500 per month, right? How much is that? Bring out the calculator. I'm bad with the math right now. Bring out the calculator. Say 1,500 times 5. Uh, that's like 7,500, I think. Okay, let me see. 1,500 times 5. Yeah, yeah, 7,500. So, 7,500. Okay. So then now, you could go in and say, well, I paid 2,000 to the freelancers, to the, for designers or whatever it is, and now I'm making 5,000. With 5,000, you could say, well, I'm making 5,000 per year. That's $60,000. So now I can quit my job and take a risk. You have savings that you have from your job where you was working at, where if something goes bad, you could always fall back on that savings. And then now you're using that extra money that you're getting every month to survive. And the things that you was doing part-time now doubles and triples. In a year from now, or maybe 6 months from now, after you quit your job, you could be making $10,000, $16,000, $18,000, $20,000 a month, because now you're able to put in full-time work. Now, the way how this thing works is, without that initial job that was paying for you to maintain yourself, you wouldn't be able to get to that point unless you're a papi and mommy kid. If you're a papi and mommy kid, shit, go for it. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you're a papi and mommy kid, you're at home, and your parents got you, shoot, you could survive. They got you. Okay? They'll pay for your internet. They'll pay for your phone. They'll pay for whatever. If you need some extra money, they'll throw you an extra $50, right? But if you're an adult, you don't have that luxury. You have to work and then use the income that they're paying you to then from there invest into your side income. That's the easiest and the smartest way to do it without having to fail. Okay? If you don't want to fail, that's how you want to do it. Let me see. How do one relearn one's love? I don't know, Rabin. Rabin Bote says, how do one relearn one's love for software development? If you need somebody to teach you how to love software development, this might not be the thing for you. This is when you got to go in and start looking. Can you make, I don't know, maybe make designs, or maybe you want to go take a class for real estate. You get what I'm saying? Maybe you want to go in and maybe learn how to write or something. Because, like, you don't need to love development. If you hate it that much that somebody got to teach you how to love it again, then that means this is not for you no more. Sometimes people grow out of this thing. I've seen it plenty of times. There's people that come in, they do development for 5 years, 10 years, and they do something completely different. Shout out to my boy, Will Motivation. If you guys don't know who Will Motivation is, he's another YouTuber. Let me see if I put his channel here. Shout out to my homie, right? And this is Will Motivation, right? Will Motivation started as a software engineer, right? He started as a software engineer. And what he did was, with his income, he went in, well, he actually, even before he even graduated from college, he went out of his way and created like a social network back in the days, before Facebook, before all of that. He made a social network for his college. So people can go in and people could stay in touch with each other. And basically with that income, he was able to get into the world of real estate. He was able to build his business, and he left development, right? And he has found a lot of success. Shout out to the homie. He's been killing it. You see him, he got the Ferrari F12. He got the Lamborghini. At one point, he had 3 Lamborghinis. Now I think he got 2 Lamborghinis and 1 Ferrari. Okay? And all he does now is just invest into properties. Okay? So he's killing it. Now, with that being said, I wanted to show you that, because if you're feeling like you don't have the love for development anymore, guess what? You don't have to code no more. You go find something else. You do this if you enjoy it. You do this if you feel like if the money is worth it. you do it. It's a job. What would you rather be doing? You would rather work at Walmart for $12 an hour, or you rather work at, I don't know, I don't know, Nike at $98 an hour? If someone put the balance there, and they're like, well, you could make $11 here, fucking walking around and cleaning the floor and stocking up the aisles, or you could go in and do the same 40 hours that you was gonna do at Walmart, but now you're doing something in front of a computer and coding, a little bit stressful, right? A little annoying, right? Maybe you're not gonna have as much fun as this, but guess what? None of this shit is fun. It's a job. They're paying you. That's it. If jobs were fun, no one will pay anybody. That's the truth. If jobs were fun and people will say, well, I just love this job, I just want to show up. Guess what? People wouldn't pay them. This is why you have people who go to, let's say and this is things that I'm into, right? This is shit that I'm into. I look into like homesteads, right? If you guys don't know what a homestead is, right? Search homestead, right? Basically, this is like when you go in and you take land and you basically create it like a farm. You get it to a point where you could live off your land, right? There's people that right now will go to somebody's house, right? And will live there for free. And all they give them is a place to live, and they give them food, right? And people will go in. It's like an internship, and they will go in and live in somebody's house, and they will go and learn about how to set up a homestead, how to survive off their land, how to grow food, how to do all of these things, right? And they will do it for free. Because at the end of the day, this is fun. This is something that they really enjoy. This is something that they want to do. When you go to a job and they're paying you, it's not supposed to be fun. It's a job. Some people might say, well, I love my job. And this, listen, maybe you love it or maybe you enjoy it, but the truth is people are paying for this because not everybody wants to do this shit for free. And they have to bring in the talent. So that's how it is. If you need somebody to tell you how to love development, you're looking at it the wrong way. Stop thinking that you need to love something to do it. There's a lot of stuff that people do. I mean, think about it like this. There's OnlyFans. There's all type of shit. Every time I've been to a strip club, the girls smile, but once you start talking to them, they're in there like, yo, I wish I could get out of this life. I wish I could do this something. But why do they come back? It's not because they love it. Nobody wants to be busting it open in front of a whole bunch of people and doing all type of crazy shit, doing something a little strange for a little piece of change. No one wants to do that. They do it because it's a job, and that's how they survive in this world. That's the most realistic shit I could tell you right now. Development is not supposed to be fun. When you work on your own projects at home, that's the fun part. When you go do it for somebody else, it's horrible. It's boring. It's annoying. You got to listen to other people. You got people's ideas that are dumb, and you still got to build it. You know how many times I've built features and things that I knew wasn't going to work for the company? And I told them, like, I don't see this thing being a case that it will make sense for the users. I'm the developer. That's not my job, right? I will tell them, hey, don't do this. You're not the owner of the company. So guess what? Now you still got to build some stupid idea that somebody else came up with. But why? Because they're paying you. They're putting money in your pocket, and that's it. Go home, enjoy whatever you got to do with your money. That's it. You don't need somebody to tell you to love it. It's a job. When was the last time you showed up? Somebody showed up to like I don't know, FedEx or some shit. Be like, I can't wait to deliver this packages. No one. There's no one at FedEx with that energy. So it's a job. You get what I'm saying? Dude's just walking around. It's like, I hope I don't gotta kill a dog today. You know what I mean? Like, dude's just like, yo, I just want to deliver the stupid packages and keep it moving. And hopefully I don't have to step on somebody's dog. You know what I mean? That's it. So going back to you. You gotta start thinking like that. Put that shit in your head. It's a job. This is not some shit that you got to go in and you got to start thinking about. Christopher, it says it's disgusting, disheartening. I don't know what you're talking about. What's disgusting, disheartening? I don't know. People want you want me to be. I don't know. What you want me to tell you? Want me to give you a pat on the back and just be honest with you, or what do you want me to do? I don't know. You gotta when you put comments like this, I need to know what's disgusting and disheartening, so I can know. Oh, you get what I'm saying? So I can help you out. So like that, I could know what you're talking about, and maybe we could discuss it. Don't forget skin color. There's still some of that in Latin America. Yeah, I mean it could. You get what I'm saying? Same way how it is here. Like you know, I don't want to get into that because then you know I'm passionate about those type of subjects, right? So I don't want to get into that. Yes, skin color, race is important, right? There's a reason why uh, you go in and you search uh, Mexican novelas, right? Mexican novelas, right? You go in and give you an example. These are the Mexican novela queens, right? These are the type of women that you see in novelas, right? The majority of Mexicans don't look like this, okay? Majority of Mexicans do not look like this. Mexico is very diverse. But one thing that they do in Mexico is they don't go in and put the Indian people, right? Like the native people, right? So if you go in, native Mexican, right? This is the majority of like Mexicans that you might see here in the United States that traveling to the US, right? And some people might know and be like, oh, this looks like a Mexican, right? But these are the real Mexicans, right? This the people that live in that country. Now, when you go into most of Latin America, a lot of times they don't give opportunities to people that look like this, which are the native people from there. They'll go in and choose to put somebody in the front that's more European looking. Those are the people that's gonna get the higher positions. You might see the bank teller look like this, but the person that's on top on the bank, they don't look like this. They look like some guy from Germany. They look like some guy from England, and that's just how it is, right? This is the real Mexicans. Shout out to the Mexicans. You know what I'm saying? But again, this is the type of things that happens everywhere. What can we do? Latin America is not perfect either, right? So, and it's one of those things. Is like you. I don't want to get into this fucking subjects. I'm passionate about this shit. This shit gets me mad. But it is what it is, man. Let me see. Rahain says I could not find a job till now. So what do you do to find a job? Right, Rahain, Rian. Let me know what skills you have so we can help you out. By the way, guys, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, guys. Okay? Definitely subscribe to the channel. Let me see. How much JavaScript do I need to move to React? This is the question that happens every single day. Every single day, somebody asks the same question. If you know what, I don't know, objects, arrays, if you know about functions, variables, if you know how to manipulate the DOM, right? Maybe move an item, changing an item's background, changing the styles of it through JavaScript, you're ready to go to React. React is not that difficult, okay? That's it. Is Drupal harder to learn than WordPress? I think so.